Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawud Daw from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth, and salutations and much love to you brothers pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Alright, we're going to get into this here quick little lesson. It's a quick little lesson on the run. There was a question that came up at camp over the weekend, and I thought, it's a good time to go into this because it's also kind of going around with some of these scoffer camps and stuff like that, as far as, wind up killing two birds with one stone, talking about getting spiritual power when we go back into the land of Israel, and also Israel being the people before a place, So, apparently the misunderstanding is that we're not going to get spiritual powers until, we return back home into the land of Israel, And also that sometimes in the scriptures, the way of thinking is in the scriptures that, when they say, basically go speak up to Israel, to the land of Israel, that they're actually talking about over there in that land, Well, you have to quite understand the whole story and the concepts of the things that's going on, in the background, the whole shebang, So, just a generalization of the whole scenario, the Most High made a covenant or a contract, okay, with the children of Israel on the foot of Mount Sinai with Moses, And so he said, look, you follow these laws, statutes, commandments, then, you'll be blessed. But if you don't follow these laws, statutes, commandments, you're going to have to pay the price, So basically right now, we're paying the price, we in captivity, scattered all throughout the four corners of the earth. Let me go ahead and get that real quick, to give you an understanding. So this is the book of James 1:1. It says, James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, now this is James, he's writing a letter, okay? And he's saying, this is who he's addressing the letter to. It says, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings, okay? And when you read, I believe it's in the book of Baruch, it says we're yet this day in our captivity still, So, the context is, we still going to be in captivity until Yahweh Shah comes back and give us salvation, and bring us and put us back into our land, So, that's the generalization of what's going on here in the Bible, We had a covenant or a contract with the Most High. We didn't keep the contract or the covenant with the Most High. We broke it. We got sent into captivity, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We will be there until the end of time when Yahweh Shah Hamashiach comes back, delivers his people, the elect, the 1/3, the 144,000, and then they was going to put them back into their land, and through there, the rest of Israel was going to come back through childbearing, more or less to say. So we're going to get into these scriptures that solidify the fact that, for one, we're going to start getting these spiritual powers right here on this side, right where we at right now, and if you can't see it right now, then you really don't believe in this, you don't even have faith, you haven't been given the spiritual eye discernment, And the other thing we're going to get is basically that Israel is a people before a place, Jerusalem is a people before a place, These places, a lot of the times the Most High will talk about a group of people by their landmass, Let me get you another quick example. Okay, then we're going to pull these scriptures. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 35. It says, Ezekiel 35:1, it says, moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And say unto it, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by force and by the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Okay? Let me just keep reading. It says, therefore as I live, saith Yahweh power, will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, because thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut it off from him that passeth out, and from him that returneth. Okay? I got to read all of this. It's not that long. It says, I will make thee a perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast said these two nations and these two countries, okay, the land of Israel, and the North America, like America over here, where the natives, the northern kingdom was, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it whereas Yahweh was there. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh power, I will even do according to thy anger and according to thy envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. Thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Thus with your mouth have you boasted against me, and multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith Yahweh power, when the whole earth rejoice, I will make thee desolate. As thou did rejoice at the inheritance of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it. They shall know that I am Yahweh. Okay, so if you read in this, Ezekiel 35, the 35th chapter, and, obviously you don't have, the Most High ain't supping with you. If you reading this and you just reading this for face value, So basically here, what do you think is going on? The Most High is telling Ezekiel to go and talk to a mountain, like an actual mountain. Like, go over there and talk to that big ass, basically this huge ass rock, like this mountain. Go over and talk to this mountain, and tell the mountain that I'm against that mountain. The Most High got a beef with a fucking mountain, And then the reason he got the beef with the mountain is because it says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and shed the blood of the children of Israel. And so when have you ever known in the history of mankind that a mountain would just start attacking people, Like an actual mountain, Like, you never heard of that. I mean, like, you even heard people falling off a mountain, or it was difficult to climb and shit like that, and people, basically had succumbed to, trying to endure climbing up a mountain or something like that. But the mountain physically didn't just, like, sprout an arm and just slap the shit out of somebody and then they died, And then it also says, I will make Mount Seir most desolate. Okay, so, like, what are you going to do? Like, the Most High going to blow up the damn mountain? I mean, he can blow up a mountain, but it's not an actual mountain that he's angry with, He's actually talking about, especially when he's talking about this here mountain. This mountain represents basically a group of people, and like a governing body, Like nowadays, how they have summit meetings, Things like that, It's talking about a group of people, more or less a government over top of a group of people, So when you read through this, if you, like I said, if you can't see that, there's no way you can get this breakdown, So when you reading this, you would understand this is talking about, this is going on between Jacob and Esau. Basically, Esau is about to get his judgment for his perpetual hatred against Jacob, okay? And it's not talking about a mountain like Mount Seir versus, Mount Israel. And I don't even think there's not even a Mount Israel. Let me see how did they word it? It says, because they used another word for Israel here as well. So I can give me 1 second. Oh, it says, verse 12, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, and I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel. Okay? First of all, locate me the mountains of Israel. Okay? Second of all, you think the Most High is actually mad at a person because this person basically has been lying on to a mountain. Like, okay, let's say hypothetically this mountain is supposed to be, let's say, hypothetically 20 feet tall. And Esau going up to the mountain and is lying on the mountain saying the mountain only 10 feet tall, That's some bullshit, And if that's what your way of thinking is, it just shows, again, that you really don't have that spirit on you, It's clear as day this is talking about something that's going on between two different groups of people. The Most High is about to judge the group of people, the nation of Esau, for how the group of people, the nation of Edom, had treated the group of people, the nation of the whole house of Israel, the northern and the southern kingdom, So, just in that one quick little example there, you can see that it's talking about, they're using, in this case, or both cases, Israel and Esau, talking to them about mountains, But it's actually speaking of people. So we're going to just jump right into this here. Let's go back over to Ezekiel. I'm going to just pull a couple of random scriptures. So, we're going to read Ezekiel chapter 3. It says, moreover, he said unto me, son of man, eat that which thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel, So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with them my words unto them. Okay, so more or less, the Most High. Okay, so let's just go back up to the top. You know, this here roll, or this book that the Most High is telling Ezekiel to eat, is the scriptures. You know, he's giving him the breakdown of these scriptures. You know, he's giving him that understanding. He's supping with him. You know, so the Most High here is giving Ezekiel the understanding that's in the breakdown of the scriptures, and he's telling him, look, you're going to go and you're going to speak unto the children of Israel. Okay, now the things that was written aforetime was written for our understanding. You know, so of course, like Ezekiel, in this sense right here, isn't necessarily talking to the people right now. You know, this is, you know, this is for our this is our example of what we're supposed to be doing right now. You know, so we're about to get, you know, right now we ate this here roll. You know, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. You know, first of all, they learned from their elders. You know, and they went out and was doing the work diligently, and they was feeding. You know, and they brought up other men of the Lord up under them, and they fed us all the way down. You know, they picked up this here book and gave it to us, just like me, for an example. You know, I grew up in a church with my grandma, going to church with her, just like the rest of you. You know, we was eating something, but we wasn't getting full off of it. Now, when we started eating this here roll, oh, now we understand. Our eyes are starting to be open. Okay, so this is what's going on here. So at this point in time, you know, we basically eating this here roll. Okay, so the Most High is saying, look, go out, eat this here roll first and foremost, and then go talk to the children of Israel. Okay. I wanted to grab something. Where is it at? Come on, right here. It says Ezekiel 3:17. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the words at my mouth, and I will give thee warning. I will give them warning from me. Okay, so again, this is again written aforetime for our learning and understanding. This is again what we're doing right here, right now, today. Okay, so this is why we're out on the highways and the byways. First and foremost, you looking at the steps. First and foremost, you know, there was a point in time where, like, I'm gonna just use me for an example. There was a point in time where I was on the other side of these videos. I was learning. Every day, every night, I went to the dinner table. I got my plate out. You know what I'm saying? The apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down. They sat there and put food on my plate. I sat there and I ate it till I got full, got it digested, you know? And now I'm on the other side of the serving line, and now, you know, putting up these videos and on the highways and the byways feeding the rest of the flock, okay? So this is the transition. First, you got to pick up the book. Now you're going over here and you eating this, or you eating the book, and now you're going out to feed the people. So it says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear my word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I shall say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, thou shalt givest him, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked ways, to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but the blood will I require at thy hand. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turns not from his wickedness, nor from the wicked ways, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. Again, when a righteous man does turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, I will lay a stumbling block before him. He shall die, because thou hast not given him warning. Salakia. He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered, but his blood will I require at thy hand. Nevertheless, if thou will warn the righteous man that the righteous sin not, and he does not sin, he shall surely live, because he is warned, and thou hast delivered thy soul. Okay, so again, we going in steps. First, we got the roll, we ate the roll. Now we going on the highways and the byways, telling you to come back to the law, statutes, commandments, come back to your power. Okay, so it says, he said, verse 17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman to the house of Israel. So again, you're going to be telling Israel to turn from your iniquity. Okay. See, do I want to get it? Well, I'll get this first. This is Ezekiel 37. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna just briefly skip through this. This is Ezekiel, now I'm going to just read it all the way down to only 9 verses. Ezekiel 37, verse 1. The hand of Yahweh was upon me, and he carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there was very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. So, I'm going to go ahead and give you the breakdown as we're going along. Basically, in today's terms, again, we're going step by step. The Most High, first of all, sat us down and fed us, eat this here roll. Then, now you're going to go and start serving at the serving line, all right? Now, what he's talking about with the Valley of Dry Bones is, you on the highways and the byways, you are in the midst of Israel, okay? They walking about in the chief concord places, but they're a bunch of dry fucking bones. They dead. There's a bunch of dead men walking, It's a zombie apocalypse, more or less, okay? And it says, and caused me to pass by them round about, and behold, there was very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yahweh, power thou knowest. Again he said unto me, prophesy unto these bones, and said to them, O ye dry bones, hear the words of Yahweh. Okay, so again, go to the highways and the byways and bid them back to the marriage. Tell them to come back to the law, statutes, commandments, so you might live, Because, how did it say, basically the penalty for sin is death, And also, basically, how do you say, to keep the laws of keep the laws of the Most High, basically is, that's the love, is to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, but also that's life, So basically, this is where it says, thus saith Yahweh power unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter in you, and you shall live. The breath is that book again, the law, statutes, and commandments, are coming back to that, okay, so that you might live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and you shall live, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. Yeah, you out on the highways and the byways preaching, and sometimes there's a great shaking. People come up and they be all riled up and this and that, but then sometimes they be like, okay, I actually get it, and they start looking more and more into it, They in that dead state first, they over here trying to fight you and shit, they want to kill your ass, but some of them actually, it resonate with them, they go home and they try to disprove you, This is exactly what happened to me, I try to disprove everything I was hearing on these videos, and every time I tried to disprove it, I kept being proven wrong, And so, that's these bones shaking and coming together, And now you're getting built up. And it says, and when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and their skin covered them above, and there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh power, come from the four winds, okay, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. So it says up here in verse 9, it says, he said unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live. Okay? So, again, this is like, stages. You get the book, you eat the book, you digest it, you get this understanding. Then you go out there, you start preaching, and you preaching to wake up Israel, So, back in Ezekiel again, I believe it's chapter 9, verse 4. This is Ezekiel 9:4. And Yahweh said unto me, go through the midst of the city. Okay? Now this is why I wanted to read about Esau earlier in Ezekiel 35, but just give you the synopsis of what's going on, the whole picture, So, again, we're killing two birds with one stone. The spiritual power, we're going to be getting spiritual power right here where we at, first and foremost. And Israel is a people before a place. Okay? So, Ezekiel 9:4. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. So what city are they talking about? They're talking about Jerusalem, okay? But are they really talking about Jerusalem over in the land of Israel? That's the question, okay? It says, and Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, okay? So, we just read how in Ezekiel 3 about eating the roll, okay? Then digesting the roll. Then he set you up as a watchman unto the children of Israel to tell them to come back, or else they're going to get put to death, they're going to die in their sins, Then we read about in Ezekiel 37 about how the Valley of Dry Bones. The Valley of Dry Bones was going to be over here because We was going to basically be in our dead state until salvation was to come. That's when we was going to start waking up. Anytime before that, we was basically in our captivity. We had already gone off, and we basically serving out our punishment, you know. So here we reading about, it says, and Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, okay? And this is where we're going to prove that this is a people before a place, okay? Because, and it says, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done thereof in the midst, or in the midst thereof. Now, this is, we obviously kicked out of our homeland right now, okay? Yahushua hadn't put us back into that land yet, and if he did, we wouldn't be preaching unto our people because we would be saved, we would be all righteous. The law, statutes, commandments would be written inside of us, okay? Now, when I read the rest of this down here, this didn't happen well, it kind of happened in Jerusalem, but this isn't talking about that. This is talking about at this point in time, okay? It says, so they're going to get this in Mark. It says, set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for the abominations in the midst thereof. Okay? So remember this mark. This mark is for the ones that is that's crying out, you know, doing the work of the Most High, like he commanded them. Go out there and prophesy, okay? If we was to look into this here word mark, this isn't like the mark that you read about in the mark of the beast. This is a word that says, let's go into it real quick. I'm trying to make this real quick, but, you know, this is just for edification. So it says, set this in mark. Okay, now this mark, when you go into it, says mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. Okay, so these people aren't going to catch judgment because they're going out there prophesying to the four winds, or they're prophesying to the children of Israel, more or less to say. Okay, but it said in the midst of the city, in the midst of Jerusalem. So if this is your hang up, again, they're not inside of Israel at this point in time. They already been scattered. Okay, so and like we read in Ezekiel 37, this is the place where they would be crying and sighing and crying for the abominations being thereof, you know. Let me get one more scripture. So this is Revelation 7. This says, after these things I saw the four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, okay, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow upon the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree. So again, those four winds, this destruction is coming, okay, like we just read over in Ezekiel 9 and 4. Like, go through the midst thereof, and basically, yeah, because I didn't read the bottom half. Let me get that one more time. Ezekiel 9 and 4, just to prove that this is what it is. So, go through, and 9 and 4, Ezekiel 9 and 4. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others, he said in my hearing, go after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have you pity. Slay utterly old, young, both maid and little children and women, but come not near any man who is the mark, and begin in my sanctuary. Then he began at the ancient man, which were before the house. So this is judgment day, okay? This is the 2/3. That's the 2/3 getting wiped the fuck out, you know. The 2/3 of the children of Israel is going to get destroyed, you know. And only the elect, the 144,000, and the 1/3 are going to be delivered, because they're going to have that mark on their forehead. And that mark on their forehead isn't an actual mark. Okay, it's an exemption from judgment. And what's the exemption from judgment? How do you get that mark? This is the law, statutes, commandments. Well, not just keeping the law, statutes, commandments, but coming back to this understanding, you know, these breakdowns and doing what the Most High told you to do. Go out to the highways and the byway and bid as many to the marriage. Okay, I'm gonna show you my works through my faith. You know, so nevertheless, you know, this is what's going on. So these people. Again, this is judgment day. You know, the 2/3 about to get wiped the fuck out. The 1/3 about to get delivered. That's why they got that mark. Okay, so this is Revelation 7. Okay, so in Ezekiel 9 and 4 it says, look to the four winds, holding back the four winds till we mark these people with the seal of the Most High. Then go through and then destroy the rest of them. So we're gonna read the same account here. Revelation 7 and 1. After these things I saw the four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree. Okay, basically destruction. So should not blow on the earth nor the sea. Sea is a representation of the people, or any tree. Trees are also representations of people. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth. Okay, so this here angel coming from the east has the seal of the living power. Okay, that same exemption. This is us getting the breakdowns again. Okay. This is us getting the breakdowns that went through our apostles and elders, how they got it on down. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the service of our power in their foreheads. And we're actively in this time right now, Ezekiel 37. We're going out to the valley of dry bones trying to wake them up. And so it says, look, hurt not the earth nor the seas. Basically, don't bring nuclear destruction until we done on the highways and the byways in the last of the elected seal, okay? And when I heard the number of them which were sealed, there were sealed 144,000, all the tribes of the children of Israel, okay? So, now let's put all this in context what we just read. So we know this is at the end of time, okay, when Israel was going to be waking back up to their power. Most High was going to wake up the prophets. We're going to give them the breakdown to these scriptures, which we read about, each is their role, then, go out and be a watchman to the children of Israel, then go to the valley of dry bones, and then breathe back onto them so that they can get their flesh back, okay? This is all going on. And then also it says, look, go through the midst of the city for the men that sign crop for the abominations thereof and set a mark on their foreheads. Then what we just read over here in Revelation 7, it says, look, to the four angels holding the four winds, look, hurt not the earth until we finish sealing those, because those ones that was out there in the highways and the byways crying for the abominations thereof, all of them hadn't been sealed yet. Some of them still got to wake up and be sealed, So this is what we're reading. Now, the four winds, that destruction coming is the nuclear destruction, okay? So this didn't happen no time beforehand. This is actually currently happening right now. So, where are they going through the midst of the city of Jerusalem at? Okay, if the missiles coming over here to touch down over here, and this is where we're getting salvation from, why the fuck would they be over in Israel prophesying over there when the bulk of the children of Israel is over here? Remember, we was cast out from over there in the year 70 A.D. Remember, you're going to go into Egypt to get on ships, and you ain't going to never see it. From the way of I spake of it, you're going to never see it again. Basically, we ain't been back over there. So, two birds, one stone. Israel is a people before a place. Go through the midst of Jerusalem, through the midst of the city thereof, and prophesy, or set a mark upon those foreheads of the men sighing and crying, okay? Now, if you're going to go through the midst of the city of Jerusalem, why are we mainly over here in the Americas and everywhere else but Israel? How many camps do you see popping up in Israel telling the truth? You see them everywhere else. Like James said, we scattered throughout the four corners of the earth to this day. Okay, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. That's where they're going to be at. They're not going to get that over there in the land of Israel. And Israel is a people before a place. Because it said go through the midst of the city of Jerusalem. Okay, now that means go through the midst of the city of our people. Tell our people, wake up, come back. That's why we say when people come up to us at camp, say, what are you guys out here doing? We're out here to tell our people, who are the Negroes, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're the real children of Israel. Okay, you need to come back to your law, statutes, and commandments. That's part of our job. That's what we're out there doing. Okay, and we're waking up our people right here in all the places of captivity. Like the Most High said, I'm going to gather them from all the places where I have scattered them. Okay, and this is how He gathering them, by waking them back up around the world. And again, this is part of spiritual power. Okay, the fact that we done woke up and ate this here book and this roll. We didn't go to no goddamn college or no shit like this. All of a sudden one day we went from being dumb as shit to just knowing this, because the Most High is supping with us. Okay, now, you want to get on spiritual powers, are we not out there healing people? You might see somebody so-called lame in the foot or whatever. I mean, that's actually somewhat happening, but there's people that's walking around that's spiritually sick, like mentally sick, People that's going around, like, being homosexuals and shit like that, and then they hear the words and they're like, oh, shit, we can't do that. People getting tattoos, destroying their bodies, on drugs, doing all kind of shit. And we tell them to stop doing that, stop killing yourself, come back to these laws, statutes, commandments. We're giving them life again, The valley of dry bones. We're raising the dead. That's what the fuck. I was, at one point in time, I was a dead lost soul. Through the apostles and elders, the great millstone on down, I was raised from the dead. That's spiritual gifts right there. I'm now a living body and got the power now to go out there and raise more of the dead. That's what we go on the highways and the byways and put these videos up for. Okay? This is what we doing. It's spiritual power right here on this side. The fact that we sitting here how we got our name Israel. The fact that we sit here and we wrestle these demons every day and we prevailing, Lord willing, through our endurance that we endure to the end with our faith, This is a spiritual power now. We fighting these demons. We putting on the armor of the Most High. We going into the spiritual realm and we slaying these motherfuckers day in and day out. We're on the highways and the byways. We slaying these demons day in and day out. Okay? The fact that we able to connect and discern certain things like this, you see this spiritual power. None of us is really all highly educated. I mean, there might be some of us that's highly educated and actually like studying the Bible more or less, but beyond us coming into the truth, you know what I'm saying, that sets us apart, You know what I'm saying? We came up on the spirit of the Most High. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, Waha Rakah Kadash, or Waha Kadash Rakah, okay? Through the Most High, His Son, and the Holy Spirit, This is us getting spiritual power right here before your face, And we are people before a place. You see you see Jerusalem right here in America, Okay? Jerusalem ain't over there in that fucking landmass. Just like when they say, oh, Mount Seir, prophesying to Mount Seir. Mount Seir is over on the other side of the planet, but Mount Seir, Esau, Edom is right here in America, dominating from right here. So, you know, the Most High said, but make a perpetual desolation and lay your cities waste, the lake of fire. Where that's going to be at? Right here in America. That's so-called Mount Seir, but it's not a literal mountain that's right here. The literal mountain is on the other side over there by the land of Israel. Okay? So with that, Lord willing, this video was edifying out to answer some questions and prove to the fact that Israel is a people before a place, you know? And 90% of the time they're talking about it in the scriptures is actually talking about the people, not the actual place. Whether it be Mount Zion, Mount Edom, the mountains of Israel, okay? Those are Mount Seir. These are talking about the groups of people, not talking about actual mountains, okay? I think there's only like two or three times they actually talk about actual mountains. When the Most High was up on top of Mount Sinai, when Esau dwelt in the clefts of the rocks, that's actually talking about real mountains. Nevertheless, Lord willing, this video was edifying. Until next time, I say, Call Halal, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shah. Double honor to the apostles and the elders that taught me this truth. Okay? And salutations to you brothers that's pushing this truth sincerely on the four corners of the earth. Stay strong. Shalom.